Randomizer. Is it overworld? Is it bosses? Is it both? We don't know. My name is Etnar, and joining me today is Captain MD13. Captain, how's it going?
It's going pretty good, and we got quite a good one for you tonight, folks. Now, as mentioned before, it is Randomizer, but it looks like we are also starting with a sword and Pegasus boots right off the bat. On top of that, it looks like we're in open mode.
Yep, we are.
And we have some form of key sanity because that map check was pretty darn empty. It's either going to be probably map compass shuffle, small keys only, or big keys we're going to see as soon as we get into a dungeon.
So this is certainly going to be a very interesting seed for our runners. They're not going to know anything as far as any basic information, obviously.
I believe we have a retro setting in play here because that small key did not have a designation attached to it.
Oh.
In fact, I should have noticed that as soon as I noticed there is no arrow count.
Right.
So, this is going to be a lot more interesting.
So, do you want to explain the retro setting for people who are not aware of it?
Sure. So in retro setting, small keys can be used anywhere. They're not limited to a specific dungeon. On top of that, you have to activate arrows by purchasing them at a shop. Furthermore, they cost rupees sapphire. I think it's 10 for a regular, 50 for a silver, if we happen to come across them.
So money is going to be our friend this seed, most likely.
Indeed, and Crubble has found a little bit in the Lost Woods, a total of 55, and did see that it was a hard container on Lumberjack, so no need to concern ourselves with Aga 1 for that, at least not yet.
Right, because so far, we don't know anything. The map didn't reveal anything. We have small keys that could realistically open up a bunch of stuff, but we got a map for Ice Palace.
So it looks like we have, at the very least, a retro map compass shuffle at the as we kick things off here. Looks like the enemies, as chat points out, do seem to be in their vanilla locations at the moment, and they do seem to be doing regular damage as well, so it looks like it's only going to be some form of boss shuffle as our Randomizer settings for this evening.
Which always makes things fun. You know, let's be real here. Going into Eastern and not knowing if you're going to face Armos or whoever definitely makes things interesting. But we did find Lamp all the way down in Zelda Cell.
That's practically vanilla. In fact, that can basically be vanilla. So that's a pretty hilarious spot for Lamp. But I would wager Wall Kicks here is going to go ahead and go straight to Dark Cross.
Oh, I mean, you have an extra key, so you know that you can get to the back. And on top of that, too, he has Lamp. Might as well while you're here.
Yeah, Lamp and Pegasus Boots does make Back of Escape fairly trivial traversal here. Otherwise, Kakariko here not showing us a lot of promise here so far, and it looks like I think I saw Krebel go and buy some bombs as well.
Dark Cross not yielding us anything, so we still have 3 more checks. We did find a map, however. Once again, we'll see what we still have as Krebel checks as well. Still a lot of different possibilities out there when it comes to what our runners can actually do, but we do know at least that we can see in the dark.
Pretty much, and that was a pretty barren Kakariko well. I just saw money and, oh, there's a bottle of green goo in the back of Escape.
And we did have a compass for Swamp Palace in the well.
Yeah, compasses in a key sanity type setting or map compass shuffle type setting, the purpose they serve is that they reveal how many checks are in a specific dungeon.
Right. And it looks like we have some more keys actually in Blind's hut.
All right, 3 keys is pretty good. That'll give you a few options, but oh well, if you wanted to get to back of escape without lamp, you get a free glove in the back of Blind's hut.
Right, which we know is only going to yield us a some green goo and a bottle. So Wall will be able to check Sick Kid.
Yeah, it's nice to get that out of the way now, just so that way anything you could do now, you don't have to do later, and that's always a good thing. Now, another thing that is a mystery here tonight is our crystal requirements, or even if we have to defeat Ganon anyway. The game may just be, the game may just say victory is on the pedestal. The game may also say you have to do all dungeons.
Right, but we can confirm, even by looking at their screens that we're seeing, we definitely do not have a Find the Triforce. Otherwise, we would have a number associated with that one. But it could be anything from 7 crystals, 3 crystals, however many crystals.
Yeah, well, one thing that's going to be interesting if it's a very low crystal requirement for Ganon, but a high crystal requirement for GT.
Right, and especially with at least bosses being randomized, it's gonna make dungeon diving a bit tricky. You know, a runner's gonna have to dungeon dive, get all the way to the end and see who they're actually fighting and whether they're equipped to do it or not.
Yeah, right now the only bosses we could kill right now are looks like Moldorm, to a very inefficient degree Landmolus, and actually Save for Almost Nights technically, but other than that, just trying to think. Yeah, that's pretty much as far as we can go for the moment. And Mothula is also killable, but again, not ideal with our current equipment. We're still running only Fighter Sword.
Right, no one, let's be honest here, no one wants to do Mothula on a Fighter Sword.
No one wants to do any boss on Fighter Sword. But we have a couple of options on the table here. With Lamp and Glove, we do already have access to Death Mountain.
Right, and who knows what Old Man is going to give us today.
Yeah, not much else on Death Mountain available to us besides the Old Man and the inside of Spectacle Rock. We can peek the top, of course, but we also, with early boots, our runners will probably route in Bonk Rocks real quick before that Death Mountain climb.
I believe that we've actually already seen Bonk Rocks, and it only gave us a piece of heart.
Never mind. That would explain why Wall Kicks already has 5 hearts.
So, another thing, too, by the way, none of our runners have checked South Shore either. So we're still looking, you know, we still have Mini Moldorm Cave to check, Ice Rod Cave. And then if our runners know how to run on the water, we can always do Pyramid Ferry.
That is true. Boots, getting Boots to set up that the water walk out of Ice Rod Cave is pretty, is a very common play in that circumstance. And I also noticed Crubble using that red meringue and discovering that the stun prize is small magic today.
Ooh.
So it's nice, but it's not brilliant.
Right, it's nothing that, you know, it's a nice convenience to have, but with runners who are experienced as Crubble and Wall Kicks are, they really don't need it. But once again, it's one of those nice conveniences to have.
Yeah, we're looking fairly good on small keys here as we start things off. We've already got up to 5 small keys, which that's enough to peek around a couple of dungeons at the moment. Once, of course, we get the ability to access them. The only one we can really walk into the front door of at the moment is Eastern.
Well, and it would bring us closer to Sasharalla's hut, too, so we can always go there and see what's going on over by his neck of the woods.
We could, but it looks like Wall Kicks is gonna do that South Shore route you mentioned earlier.
Right, and completely bypassing the dam to head to Moldorm Cave right away.
Ooh, this is a very interesting call here.
Well, and I guess his idea is going for item density, which makes sense. The dam only yielding you 2 checks versus mini Moldorm Cave. But it doesn't look like that call really paid off for mini Moldorm Cave.
That was literally nothing but red rupees and heart pieces. 5 items, and you only got 2 unique picks.
Right, but I mean, it at least will help us when we get some arrows.
True. Because, yeah, money has been kind of starved so far for this seed. The only noticeable rupees we got were, like, I think 1 or 2 50 packs.
Right, and it looks like Wall Kicks is going to set himself up to grab some pots, rather throw some to get some extra money.
Well, we found both of our boomerangs already.
I just want to say, the blue ice rod cave giving us the bloomerang.
How appropriate. I've also noticed that the game has been very generous on bomb drops so far, as we saw 2 in the Kakariko well, there's another pack here in the dam. I'm pretty sure there was 1 more in Blind's hideout or somewhere else in Kakariko at the very least.
Yes, I believe so, because Wall Kicks did not have to buy any extra bombs.
And indeed, we do have Wall Kicks setting up that water walk to go visit Zora area nice and early. We'll be able to check Waterfall Ferry as well as Zora himself, but unfortunately Zora himself is kind of a bit of a money problem. But we do get a hammer and a cane in the Waterfall Ferry. Now that's a pretty stacked Waterfall Ferry.
Right, especially now with the cane being there. Means that we have Icebreaker if we have to go into Ice Palace, but we also have Diver Down.
Indeed we do. Although Diver Down can be performed with bombs, cane is also a valid option. Krebel cutting it a little bit close there with Mini Moldorm Cave getting down to 1 heart after a couple of falls, but should get a refill from this series of heart pieces.
Right, and Hobo giving us
not.
a small key, by the way.
Okay, so yeah, the cane and the hammer currently flippers locked, which means the flippers should be showing up relatively soon. I'd have to wager they're probably in Eastern somewhere, or absolute worst case scenario, somewhere in Agina's cave. Not quite sure why Wall Kicks went into the ferry refill room there. Unless it's to set up a houlihan.
Ooh, it could be.
Although if that's the case, I don't know why he wouldn't just do bomb back of escape. Yeah, I'm curious as to why Wall Kicks decided to go there. He might be trying to route in Nagina now with this dam check. Because really, there's going to be no better time like the present to go check him, because you're not coming back to Desert again until you have Flute. Or something, or some way to get into the Desert front door, but very unlikely you're going to get that in the very near future. Although I still think that Eastern's probably the next thing on our docket.
I mean, never, it's one of those things where, and I'm sure that we've all experienced it, never underestimate the power. Okay, well, there's our heart piece for Wall Kick, another heart for Wall Kicks. Never underestimate the power of Agina.
Is that usually free?
Don't know, to be honest with you. I've never checked there.
Yeah, me neither. That's what threw me off a little. Looks like Wall Kicks is grabbing some extra rupees. I don't think this is a full farm for Zora. Yeah, I didn't think so.
Yeah, but Krelbo looking to go up by Sasharella's hut, which, item density-wise, yeah, I would probably make the same call.
Yeah, especially since you can do a lot of Eastern Palace right now with your current equipment. You can pretty much do everything, including get up to the boss. Actually, no, you can't. You still need a bow to get past the Green Igor. But hey ho, there's Titan's Mitts and Moon Pearl. There is your Dark World care package in the back of Sahasra's closet.
Oh, that's gonna be so nice. Especially when Wallkicks finally heads over there, because it looks like Agina actually did him a little dirty.
Let me just check the playback. Yeah, just a red rupee. Looks like Krebel is going immediately for King's Tomb here.
And it looks like if we need a key, we can always buy one for an extra 100 rupees.
Assuming we could finally get some money here, maybe our runners will take advantage of that key store.
Possibly. Wallkicks, however, is going to go grab essentially what would be his Dark World access. And Krebel only, unfortunately, not really finding anything over by King's Tomb.
Yeah, actually, this is a very interesting scenario here because Wallkick's sequence broke the hammer, courtesy of the Water Walk. He actually has full Dark World access, including Dark Death. Well, actually, no, I still need Hookshot or Mirror for Dark Death Mountain, but yeah, this is already a good chunk of. Wallkicks has the better Dark World access right now.
Well, actually,
but we'll see.
I think that Krebel actually also. They flip right over to the ledge, maybe?
I don't think Krebel checked Waterfall Fairy. I think he checked the only the hobo. So let's, yeah, there's no hammer in Krebel's pause menu, so yeah, Krebel did not sequence break Waterfall Fairy just yet, if at all. Flippers could still show up here in Village of Outcasts, though. Because Mitts and Moon Pearl are more than enough to get back there, but looks like we got a Hype Cave check over here from Wallkicks, and it's just another bottle, for the most part.
Right, but we got some red love.
Yeah, and now there's another red rupee in the C-shaped house. There have been an obnoxiously large amount of red rupees and low rupee drops so far. And, well, would you look at that? Ice Palace is a pendant.
And Dark Palace and Eastern are our 5-6 crystals.
Ooh, that's a spicy pair right there. Both right next to each other, just interdimensionally.
Right. How nice must that actually feel? The fact that you just have to mirror.
Pretty much.
And by the way, I don't know if any of us said it too, but Wallkicks also purchased the arrow, by the way. So as soon as he gets a bow, we can shoot some arrows.
Indeed, and it looks like now Krebel is traversing through Thieves Town, has found one item in the front so far.
And already has Big Key too, by the way.
Yeah, the big key is guaranteed in those first 4. And actually, I think, I don't think it's guaranteed small keys now in the... Oh!
We just have to get to the
hey, look at that. Ooh, that's interesting because we're already looking pretty darn good because if we could just get Fire Rod and Flippers, we can already clear 2 of those pendants.
Right.
Wow. So we could actually... This could be over real quick. Oh, and it's Trinex in the boss of Thieves Town, so that is a big fat no-no for now.
That is definitely a see you later, not gonna go in there.
And actually, as Chad points out, we could easily just fake Flipper to Ice Palace as well, so we could potentially skip out on Flippers if we really wanted to in a seed like this.
Right. And I mean, realistically, we only need to know one more pendant. So I'm pretty sure at this point, you know, any chest that our runners can open, obviously they would be anyways, but if they see a map somewhere, they're going to grab it just to make sure they get that pendant. As soon as they get the third location, that's it. They're just going to move on. Or rather, so far at least, Wall Kicks will. Treble doesn't know yet that it is just a ped race.
Yeah, Wallkicks made a good call here, going straight for the pyramid to get the gold. Now, to be fair, Kreble doesn't have hammer, so can't reach that neck of the Dark World anyway. So it's gonna be a bit of a walk before and a trek over to Waterfall Ferry before Kreble gets the means to check that out. Ooh, Palace of Darkness is, I would say bow-locked, but it's retro. We already have plenty of keys.
Oh yeah, it has plenty of keys, and, I mean, we can always use a potion if we really need to get over to right side.
Yeah, the game has already handed out 2 pretty much for free. So no need to worry about lack of potions. Finally,
I'm sorry, go ahead.
no, you first. I interrupted you.
I was just gonna say, this has actually turned into a very interesting seed really fast.
Yeah, I'm curious. It's gonna actually stink real hard if Thieves Town is the other pendant, because then that means our runners need to find both rods.
Oof.
And
that's
Ice
right.
Rod can be anywhere. Especially since Trinex isn't guaranteed for all the dungeons.
That would be slightly annoying for our runners. Obviously, we do like a good race, but not to punish our runners as much.
I'm not sure the folks in chat would agree with you on that one. But Wallkicks has finally found one of the 4 300 rupee packs in the item pool here in the Bowlock section of Palace of Darkness. And it looks like Kreble might actually be trying to grab some extra cash via the archery game, because I don't think 50 is enough for Dig Game, last I checked.
Wasn't it 60, I believe? 80.
Shovel rental is 80 rupees. I have all day.
80 rupees for 30 seconds. And then more rupees.
But yeah, archery game should be a fairly quick refill here.
Right, especially for our runners.
And the first of the 2 green rupees of eternal glory showing up also in Palace of Darkness.
We got
an Eastern Palace.
Yep, we got the Eastern Palace, Matt.
Unfortunately, that one's kind of trash. We already know it's a red crystal. Yeah, and we saw the Hyrule Castle map on the Pyramid Ledge too, so which is another one of the more useless maps.
Right. So, if you were thinking about where to be running, where would you try and map? And by the way, it looks like Wallkicks is setting up for a hammer jump.
I'm sorry, what was the question? I couldn't hear you for a split second there.
Where do you think that this seed is going to take us? As
Where
far
do I
as
think
our last pendant.
Ooh, that's a good question, because we're still kind of locked out of a few key areas here. Even with Hammer and Mitts and Moon Pearl, we still can't get to the rest of Death Mountain without either Hookshot or Mirror. We still need flippers to put Hammer into Logic, and it looks like Wallkicks is going to Death Warp here. Kreble is doing the Stumpy checks here along with the Smith chain.
Might as well route them in, and it's probably going to head on over to Hype Cave and grab his red potion.
Yeah, and we should note, Wallkicks did find the powder in the Dark Maze, and with Hammer in tow, that's a fairly easy check right now, actually.
Right, because... Oh, and there's Bo, so we now have Bo.
A bow in a bow heavy dungeon. I'm actually surprised Wallkicks decided not to go to the boss. because Wallkicks could very easily have gone back there with lamp, bow, and hammer.
Right. Oh, you know, I actually have a question for you, Captain.
Go on.
Isn't there a possibility with Boss's Shuffle if there may be a repeat boss?
Yeah, there's a couple of different boss scenarios that might show up. I think, like, for example, three bosses can show up twice for, like, a conventional boss shuffle. If it's more, it's like a chaos boss shuffle, something along that line. I'm not that most familiar with the boss shuffle mechanics, but it is possible we can have repeat bosses very easily.
Right, so there is a possibility for these these pendant checks that we may actually come across two Trinexes.
Depending on the arenas, yes. Trinex can actually not appear in the Skull Woods arena because the spikes make the arena too small.
Right.
But I do believe he can show up in the Ice Palace arena. Smith's giving us a Turtle Rock map. This is going to be a big one. If Turtle Rock is a pendant, this could be a bad day.
Right, but Wallkick's getting the Desert Palace map.
Okay, so we got a little more potential information available to us here.
And Desert Palace is only a crystal.
Yeah, so a crystal, unfortunately not what we're looking for, and we still can't even get through the front door of Desert anyway without book or mirror plus flute at this point.
Right, and it looks like Treble is gonna go get the purple chest, and is gonna go through bringing the purple chest back home.
Yeah, decides to elect for the World Tour method since there's no mirror available right now.
Although I will say, if mirror is on purple chest, I feel so bad.
Yeah, that's gonna be a tough one to. Well, Wallkicks, if he does the Smith chain, will probably route that back in. But yeah, Krebel's at a bit of a disadvantage right now without that sequence broken hammer, unless of course Flippers just so happen to be chilling here in this purple chest. I think they could be. Nope, but it's a giant amount of money.
Which is great if we had a bow, but we know that we gotta go to Hive for a bow.
Yeah, and another thing we have to also consider is that because it's retro mode, the items are not the same. And I just noticed that that is a sword on the desert ledge. But here's the thing: we don't have to fight Ganon today, so that Master Sword may not even be required.
Who really needs a Master Sword when all you gotta do is go up to a pedestal with some pendants and pull it?
Yeah, for those just coming in to tonight's A Link to the Past Randomizer Daily Race, we have our mystery seed so far has yielded a some form of boss shuffle open. We're not sure how many crystals are needed to enter GT. We're not too worried about that because it's a pedestal victory seed. Our runners have started with boots and hammer. Not hammer, boots and sword. I wish they started with hammer, I'm sure. They started with boots and hammer, and it is a retro seed with map compass shuffle.
And just letting chat know as well, and for anyone who has come in, Wallkicks does have hammer because he was not only did Wallkicks and Krebel do a bit of a sequence break with doing basically water walking, but Wallkicks also decided to check Waterfall Fairy, which is where we found the hammer and cane of Samaria. Krebel only checked Hobo and Lake Hylia Ledge and dipped out. But Old Man giving us the map for Tower of Hera, which is another crystal. So That means our light world is nothing but crystals. The pendant has to be somewhere in the dark world. And
Yeah.
Kerbal has the map to Turtle Rock.
I believe Cribble also has the map to Swamp Palace, so we're actually going to get intel on 2 more dungeons here, which will pretty much, it'll get pretty close to isolating our final, Oh, it looks like Swamp Palace is a crystal. So we now have knowledge of that is 6 crystals.
So,
Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 crystals, excuse me.
So what? I mean, we've confirmed though, at least for our runners finishing, flippers may not actually be required this seed. We may be able to actually fake flipper.
Indeed, by logic they will be, but yes, if our runners do decide to fake flipper to ice, they will be able to skip, they'll be able to skip the flipper's requirements entirely. Especially since Swamp is not a pendant, unless Fire Rod is in Swamp Palace.
Right.
Because right now, that's pretty much the major handicap right now for both of these runners. Fire Rod does lock out Ice and Skull Woods.
And Krebel going to check the Waterfall Fairy, and we'll find the Hammer and Cane of Samaria.
Yeah, and at this point, Krebel can also check King Zora as a result of having that extra cash from the purple chest. I was about to say, Krebel, why are you saving and quitting? You have the,
You have the money, you might as well just check it.
Alright, so Wall Kicks did decide to take a Death Warp here. I'm not sure if this is going to be an instant nope out, or if it's going to be, Wall Kicks is going to check the rest of Thieves Town. We'll be able to open up the big chest. Does have a key to get to the back.
And let's see what our King of Scammers, aka King Zora, has for us today.
The ultimate scam, the other green rupee.
The biggest oof that you could get from the King of Scammers.
It has not been a good day if you are looking for rupees.
No, our runners only finding 2, or at least to our knowledge. We have only had 2 of the 300 rupee finds. A couple of 50s here and there, but oof up.
Yeah, Wall Kicks got a little lucky there and managed to powder an anti-fairy in that hellway.
And it looks like Rebel is now going to make his way over to Pyramid to find out that it is a head seat.
Still not much else going on in here in the top of Thieves Town, as Wall Kicks will... I don't know why Wall Kicks bothered opening up the ceiling. That might have just been muscle memory.
You know, it's one of those things where, especially with Randomizer, in the back of your mind you're going, well, you know, I have to blow this, you know, open. I have to blow that hole open because I need it for blind. And, you know, 2 seconds later after you do it, you realize, oh wait, I didn't even need to do that.
Yeah, and even if the boss was vanilla blind, you don't actually have to do the maiden escort. Blind will just be there regardless of if the ceiling's been opened or not.
Ooh,
oh no!
Rock is our third pendant.
Oof. You know something? That actually might not be the worst thing out there right now, because here's the thing. We already have Titansmiths and Cane of Samaria. We might only just be looking for a medallion, some form of East Death Mountain access, and Fire Rod, and that's it. Because we don't need ice. We potentially don't need Ice Rod. Oh, would you look at that?
Fire Rod in the bottom of Thieves Town.
That's great news for Wall Kicks. He's probably gonna nope out here and go straight to Skull Woods.
Oh, I would not be surprised. Elbow, however, did not check the bottom of Thieves Town, even though he went in, so he's gonna have to go back.
Yeah, double dipping Thieves Town is never a good thing.
You're looking at an extra, I believe it's about 3 minutes.
Certainly along that line, 3 or 4 minutes. Just to confirm with chat, we don't necessarily need Ice Rod because the only Trinex we've seen is in Thieves Town. And we know for a fact that Trinex can't be in the Skull Woods boss arena because it's too small. So all bets are still on the table for Ice Palace, but and Turtle Rock. But we may end up, since we do have a form of boss shuffle today, we might not end up needing that Ice Rod. And with Bow in tow, we can make Armos Knights fairly trivial. We can kill Helmasaur with Hammer. We could do it with bombs, but that's pretty darn inefficient. Lamolus is currently free with our current equipment. Moldorm is currently free with our current equipment. Vitreous is not ideal, but killable with our current equipment. Same with Blind. So yeah, the only bosses we can't kill right now are Argus and Trinex.
Right, which is going to be interesting to see which way they're going. Kind of like how you predicted Wall Kicks is going to head all the way back to Skull Woods and just get it over with. Krellbell, however, is going to go Pod. And if I believe the bow was actually on, I believe that's map location in Pod, or is that no, that's Big
It was
Key
on.
Card.
It was actually the Vanilla Big Key chest.
Yeah. So this is definitely a very interesting feat. At least we have an idea of where we need to go, or rather, Krellbell does. Wall Kicks, not so much. Wall Kicks does not know about TR yet.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember where the Turtle Rock map actually was.
Turtle Rock map, I believe, was actually Purple Chest?
No, Purple Chest was, $300. It might have been the Smiths.
Yeah, no, it might have been the Smiths, you're right.
Looks like Wall Kicks, took a,
Took a hand back.
I guess that was, it's to refill his magic, just in case, like, Cold Stare shows up and he needs a full magic bar. Although I don't think Cold Stare can show up in the, Mothula arena either. Ooh, but there's a full magic, decanter there for Wall Kicks.
Yeah,
Lucky drop.
I don't think he can show up there because of the space. I'm not sure if Armos Knights can actually show up there either.
I don't think so. The best boss at this point would probably be Moldorm, because I think his speed is reduced in this arena.
Ooh, and it is Moldorm.
Not just any Moldorm, the famous 8-eyed Moldorm.
Oh, so gross to look at. So many eyes. Moldorm, you don't need that many eyes.
Well, down he goes for a Bombos medallion. That is a pretty important drop because that could be our key into Turtle Rock.
Right. But at the same time, too, we could also need Ether or Quake.
Yeah, 1 in 3 chance right now, but unfortunately, we still need to get Hookshot or Mirror to be able to even get back there. Which is weird having Mitts this early and the ability to even open up the Dark Death Mountain rocks, but still can't actually check anything back there.
Right, however, there was only one item that Wall Kicks found, but he just found the Grandpa Bombs, or rather the Uncle Bombs.
Still, bomb refill is a bomb refill.
Right, you would rather get them when you're a little bit lower, seeing as Wall Kicks already had 10 bombs, but I mean, you got that check out of the way, you know it's not an item that can appear anymore. Krellbell, however, getting his bow.
Alright, let's see what's going on here. Wall Kicks is choosing to fake Flipper again. And he is going to...
Probably going to Zora. 675 rupees.
Yeah, probably gonna get worst scam of his life right now. Could also be reloading on potions before Ice Palace, as Chad points out, which, yeah, it looks like he's grabbing some extra blue goo.
Yep. Might as well. You know that you don't need flippers for it. You already have the fire rod and bombos. So, perfectly fine. And if it happens to be vanilla colts there, enough potions to back it up.
Yeah, so Wall Kicks is looking pretty good right now, and, again, if we can just find, if we happen to get lucky with medallions and find, Hookshot and Mirror, we could be done with this seed pretty darn fast, but, ooh, Wall Kick's gonna demonstrate Splash Deletion and nails it first try.
You know, that's something that still have to, I personally still have to attempt to do. You know, our runners are so good today. They really do make some of the more trickier stuff seem very simple. But let me tell you something too. The runners that we're showing here tonight, Wall Kicks, incredible. By the way, please go give them a follow on their channel. A lot of the runners who we do showcase over here at Speed Gaming also create some tutorial videos as well for the average everyday person. If there's a trick that you're interested in learning, feel free to give those videos a follow and check them out as well.
Ooh, those Kadongos down there giving Crubble a really tough time here in the Dark Maze. Although the Crubble is most likely going to Death Warp after checking the big chest here. So yeah, gonna just take a bomb death. And next on the trick docket here, Wall Kicks will set up an icebreaker glitch and just zips right on past the wall.
I mean, who needs to go through the dungeon like a regular person?
Especially when it's Ice Palace. Alright, now this Ice Atrium was a pretty big eye-opener in last night's daily race, where it had Bo locked behind a hammer that was on Vitreous, so not the case tonight.
No, only giving us a heart container, but hey, listen, a heart container is a heart container.
It is, and considering we're still running Green Mail and may potentially have to deal with late game bosses anytime, the extra health is always welcome.
Right. I mean, we don't know who we're gonna fight here. Who would you say, in your opinion? Because personally, I would love to see a Landmost fight here. But who would be your the boss who you're kind of rooting for to be here in Ice Palace?
In Ice Palace? Ooh. Yeah, Ice Palace would be... the freest one would be Mothula, but if I had to say one that I'd like to see here... I want to say surprise me with Vitreous.
Ooh.
If that's even possible in Ice. I'm pretty sure it is.
I believe that it is, because the room is about the same size. The only difference is, essentially, normally in Ice Palace you would have falling ice, but we got Quake, so 2/3 of a chance actually getting into Turtle Rock in case we need to.
Yeah, this is starting to look better and better. Oh, and Krebel is boss locked out of Pod because Argus is the boss.
Oof,
I will politely see myself out if it turns out I just did call the boss of this dungeon. Because
Oh, please.
I'm saying that it's a thing of mine, like once every 2 or 3 races, where I just hit the nail right on the head and I'm not even trying.
Right. I'll laugh at the Flambos. I'm totally not gonna lie to you. I am a little upset, though, the fact that we may not see GT today.
We're definitely not going to see GT today, or very unlikely to see GT today, given how this seed's been playing out so far. And Ice Palace is a clearable dungeon because it's a nice, convenient Armos Knights fight. Pretty much mimics the Eastern Palace fight. There's no detriments to you in this arena.
We did all that for a pendant and a key.
Now, does that mean Ice Palace was Samaria lock? No, I'm kidding. I'm pretty sure retro key logic doesn't take that Kane logic into account now.
Yeah, but it's going to be interesting now to see where Wallkicks is going to make his judgment call, because so far, in order for him to get to Turtle Rock, he needs either mirror or hookshot just to get to the other side.
Yeah, to answer a question in chat, both of our runners don't actually have ammunition counts for their arrows because of a feature of retro mode where arrows instead draw from your rupees to use. 10 rupees for a single regular arrow and 50 rupees for a silver.
Which does mean that if our runners are falling behind on their money, they're going to have to do some farming before, normally you would have to do it before you fight Ganon. We don't even care about that because all we need to do is get the pedestal. But unfortunately, we will not need to see our Bacon Lord.
Nope, not this time around. And looks like Krebel just found the Meyer map in Eastern Palace. Granted, we know that's not really that important at this point since we now know all of our red crystals and our 3 pendants. But we got a little bit of follow the leader here, actually, since both of our runners are converging on Eastern, which, honestly, I think this is pretty much all they can do right now.
Right, we don't have Flu to get back to Meyer to check around Meyer. We don't really have any other option.
Oh, well, now we do. Krebel just finally got the hook shot in the compass chest.
Well, there we go. So as far as Rebel is concerned, we're just waiting on bosses to know if we're actually in go mode. And let's think about it. So we had Armos Knights, right? Which Krebel can currently do. And we also had Moldorm, which Krebel can do also in Skull Woods. So we're just left seeing what's going to happen in Turtle Rock.
Yeah, and the only boss that actually can't be killed with our equipment at this point is Trinex. That's it. Until we find Ice Rod. So, because Hookshot now adds Argus to the list of clearable bosses. So, it's looking pretty unlikely that much is going to be inhibiting our runners. Unfortunately, you know what's kind of stupid? Pod is, actually, no, that hookshot wasn't bow locked. What am I saying? I was gonna say Pod might have been a double dip, forced double dip, but no, it wasn't. That bow was not that hookshot was not bow locked. You absolutely could have gotten this in, like, the first 10 minutes.
Right. This is, talk about a jet seed, though. Just, first off, Ted can be a jet seed, but I mean, for this, what do you think Wallkicks may do, though, once he finishes up with Eastern? Do you think he's actually going to take the time and dip back Pod?
That's a good question. I know they both entered Pod. Both runners have entered Pod and checked everything before the bosses, so it'd be kind of tough to justify going back in for one item. Plus the 2 on Pyramid Fairy, to be fair, but even still, I don't think Wallkicks knows about Turtle Rock yet, so Wallkicks would have to still do Smith Chain to get that final information. And looks like we got another Moldorm in Eastern.
Another 8-eyed Moldorm.
And that 8-eyed Moldorm rewards us with 2 extra arrow shots, effectively.
So at this point, Krebel really needs that Fire Rod once Krello gets that fire rod, needs, and we still don't know what opens up obviously yet with Turtle Rock, but looks like we actually may get a dip over there, or at least over to the right side of Death Mountain.
I would wager we're going to see East Death Mountain first before Krebel goes to Turtle Rock. Although Krebel might try to just... well, Krebel actually doesn't have any medallions at this point, so Krebel couldn't get in the front door even if he tried, unless it happens to be Ether and the keys under the mat, which it most likely could be. It's happened.
At the very least, though, Krebel will know exactly which medallion he's looking for. And chat will know, too, and that'll be, and I'm going to put it this way, almost no mode. And the only reason why I say almost no mode is because we don't know who the boss is.
Indeed, but again, the odds are fairly in our favor here that it's not going to be an unkillable boss. But, oh, hey, there's a blue mail and a blue shield in the lower Paradox Cave. Blue mail, always pretty useful.
Wallkicks has to make his climb up to Death Mountain. He didn't do it originally, and completely understand why. But he will make his way up there and soon be doing the same checks that Krellbell is doing currently.
Yeah, the question is, will he blind dip Turtle Rock? Oh wow, that's a nice couple of keys up there in Upper Paradox with, oh, there's 3 keys with a Cane of Burna, so that makes Spike Cave a nice easy check. To answer a question in chat, this is some form of boss shuffle. We're not exactly sure which one yet, because we've seen now 2 Moldorms. If we see a third one show up, I think that means we have Chaos bosses. But right now we've only seen 2, which can happen in a regular boss shuffle. Wallkick's getting the Hera map, which really won't do him any good.
Right, since we already know that Hera is going to be our crystal, thanks to Krebel.
It looks like Krebel's going to go into Hera anyway. He's looking for Fire Rod. Oh, but instead finds our Bolt coin, so all Medallion RNG has effectively been torn out from the seed.
Right, and this could be what he needs to actually get into Turtle Rock.
And I gotta figure Wallkicks is most likely gonna check Hera as well.
I mean, hopefully Wallkicks does. But the real question is this: is he going to take the chance and dive Turtle Rock?
Yeah, this is one thing that I'm not so sure on. I think it also might depend on, let's say it's 2 crystals to enter GT. And Wallkicks gambles that, hey, if it's not a pendant, at least it's a 2nd crystal for GT. I wonder if that might help encourage him.
Well, Wallkicks did already check to see that it was pedestal, so both of our runners know that it's pedestal. But this would be interesting to see how he kind of goes about this. And exactly what he decides to do.
Yeah, we're about to see what the medallion is here for Turtle Rock, and I'm wondering if Wallkicks is just going to dive straight in or check Hookshot Cave first here.
I can see chat cheering with the fact of, and it's Quake! We already have access!
Indeed.
Wallkicks, are you gonna dive in and make that call?
And depends on if he goes right or left out of the stairs. That'll be a pretty good indication, but it looks like he's going left. He's probably going to check Hookshot Cave real quick first.
I mean, might as well, you're here. You don't have all the information. Let's see what we get, you know?
And another thing that kind of helps out with Turtle Rock is that if the big key shows up nice and early, the flippers were in Hookshot Cave. Wow! So the hammer was not expecting to be picked up until... Wait.
Is that gonna be the thing that Wallkicks needs? for him to think, okay, maybe I should go in there. Because, I mean, at this point, we needed Hammer.
Yeah, we needed it for Ice Palace. We eventually needed it for Turtle Rock, but I'm just trying to think, how was the game expecting us to get up here? Well, I guess the hook shot, so...
Yeah, it would be the hook shot, so we would have had to dive Eastern. Once we had Eastern, we would have hook shot, and we would also have Titans as well.
Yeah, that makes sense now. And even without hook shot, the boots would have gotten... if, say, we were just magically to get tossed into Hookshot Cave, the boots would have at least let us check that chest. Interesting thing to note, there's a 50-50 chance that hints are enabled, but our runners are not checking them. Hera was a free crystal today, as it was Mothula in the top of the Tower of Hera. That's a pretty free boss, honestly.
Right. Mothula is really scary because of the spikes that constantly move around in its room. But since we don't have to worry about the spikes, we just got to worry about that hole. It's not that bad.
Now, here's an interesting prospect here. Wall Kicks may decide to just go mode Turtle Rock since the key logic, since he's got plenty of small keys to just zip right to the end here. But it looks like he's going to check Crystal Roller anyway.
I mean, for all that, he knows, we may have, a vanilla Trinex.
And actually, chat brings up a good point. We still need that big key.
Yeah. But half magic, okay, that'll certainly be helpful.
Yeah, especially since we might need it for if it's Cold Stare on at Trinex. Fire Rod will definitely do a nice favor in, or half magic will do a nice favor in preserving Fire Rod ammunition.
Right, because at that point, half magic is really, really nice over in Turtle Rock just in general, because you can kill a lot of enemies with the Fire Rod and make it easier on yourself. But I'm pretty sure at this point, too, with our Chain Chomp, he's pretty happy with the fact that he's got blue mail and not green.
Indeed, and there's our big key in the Chain Chomp room, so yeah, you actually pretty much could have skipped that Firelock side. Yeah, now if I recall correctly, Quake was on Mothula, or not Mothula, on the Moldorm of Skull Woods.
Right.
So Krebel actually, just has to flat out go back to Thieves Town and then do Skull Woods, and then that will set him on the path.
Right, and as far as it goes with Ice Palace, I guess the game's logic was actually to lead you through Turtle Rock?
Oh, and actually, chat correcting me here that Quake was actually an ice.
Ah, okay. Yeah,
that's right, because the Bombos was in, I think the Bombos was what was in Skull Woods. Oh, geez, there's the mirror in the Vanilla Big Key chest of Turtle Rock.
Well, we're not going to need that one.
Nope.
Unless we don't get Ice Rod and we do have a Trinex.
Yeah, and then that mirror will be incredibly convenient for quickly noping out of the dungeon.
Treble is gonna go check GT and see what we actually need to get inside.
And the crystal count is some value less than 2. It looks like it is just 1 crystal to enter GT today.
Okay.
Which is kind of a... Well, actually, Ice Rod could totally just be chilling in here.
Yeah, I mean, we have access to it as long as we have 1 crystal. And we... I believe almost immediately had access to that 1 crystal.
Yeah, we did. That would be the, pretty much the Eastern... Actually, the Eastern crystal was the pretty much free. Because we had Lamp... we had to go to Pod for the bow first, but other than that, yeah, it was a pretty, easy, crystal.
Wall Kicks, I guess, deciding, you know what, I'm going to see this all the way through, and thankfully he is.
Yeah, I think it also helped that he noticed that the other, besides Ice, the other 3 Dark World dungeons were all crystals, and he thought, well, that isolates a few things for me.
Right, and I mean, if you also think about the progression too, the fact that you had to be here in order to get flippers, and not only that, but you were able to open it up with Quake. I mean, it seems like a pretty evil thing that a seed would do, but definitely something that would most likely happen.
Indeed.
I know if I were in his shoes, I would definitely just be going through Turtle Rock. Just as soon as I saw flippers, I didn't immediately Turtle Rock because of that.
Yeah, the only thing is the Dark Death Mountain would have been a forced double dip, because then logically you had to go back to Waterfall Ferry to grab Hammer and Cane. So that would have been an annoying trip back up.
Right. And we got the map of Thieves Town.
It's not going to do us any good.
And the map of Skull Woods, but we don't really know what's in there.
To answer question, chat, what is mystery? That means the settings are not immediately known, and it's up to the runners and the folks at home to sort of figure out what the seed was asking for. Today, it appears that we have had a some form of boss shuffle enemizer. It was a 1 Crystal GT entry, but victory on pedestal, with early sword and boots. Furthermore, it is a retro setting.
Ooh!
Oh no, it is a vanilla Trinex.
Ouch!
Oh, that's unfortunate. Bombs will not save you.
No, but it definitely does relieve some stress. So we do need the ice rod. So at that point, we know what we need.
Yep, we do.
Now the question is, where is it? Oh, actually, hold on. Treble found the ice rod. The ice rod's in GT. We are in no mode.
Oh, wait, no, hold on. Not the basement of GT, basement of Hera.
Oh, it was basement of Hera? Oh.
Well, I completely missed that.
Yeah, so did I.
I am so sorry.
I sincerely apologize.
Oh, well, there's Flutin' GT.
So do you think that Wallkicks is gonna go check basement of Hera?
Well, he's still on the mountain, so I would hope so. Although he didn't immediately mirror from Spectacle Rock, so that's a bit of a maybe. But yeah, we should take a minute to shout out Jinxie Girl, who caught that for us, and because we completely missed that. So shout outs to the trackers. She has fantastic eyes. Yep,
please give a follow, by the way, to, and it is post 1 hour mark. Please give a follow to our runners, Wallkicks and Krello. Also, thank you so very much, Jinx, for being here with us today, and being our tracker. And Captain, thank you very much as well. Please give everyone a follow, show some love. Would be very nice of you.
Oh no, Wallkicks just immediately mirrored. That doesn't sound like a... Oh, it's a Herapod play, okay. Yeah, this is not gonna work out much in Wallkicks' favor.
No.
Because I don't know if he's just forgetting that the item logic is, the item counts are a little weird in this mode, but yeah, you only need one small key to get to Hera Basement, excuse me. Krebel's like, I want the fairy, not the bee. Yeah, we'll see if Wallkicks goes back for that,
for the basement play.
Goes back for that ice rod, yeah. Krebel, in the meantime, has been out of GT. Didn't even find the big key, I don't think. Didn't even open the big chest. Which
No, at that
means,
point, Treble just needs to find that fire rod.
pretty
Fire
much.
rod, and then we'll be able to do the sequences that he needs.
Yeah, because it does seem like the seed is expecting you to do the dungeons in the order of Skull Woods, then Ice Palace to get grab Quake, and then go to Turtle Rock. In fact, you probably could have delayed Hera Basement until this point, too.
Right, because at this point, you'd be at, the last step as it is, so...
I think this is actually Mothula's first appearance so far. He didn't show up anywhere else, right?
Yes,
No, he didn't show up in Eastern.
Eastern had Moldorm.
Eastern and Skullwoods were both Moldorm.
Yep, we had Mothula over here in Hera, and Ice Palace had Armos.
Yeah, and Trinex was Thieves Town as well. So that's two Trinexes, two Trinexes, two Moldorms, one of everything else we've seen.
Yep.
Oh, and apparently there was also Armos Knights in the GT basement as well.
Yes.
So there have actually been 3 bosses that have shown up twice now. But yeah, Wallkicks is going to Hera Basement. He's going to be very happy, if not mildly frustrated, to see that ice rod.
Right, but at least at that point, at 1 hour, 6 minutes, and 12 seconds, we are in go mode.
Oh, and mind of me reminding us, Wallkick still actually has the mirror portal, so he's actually going to have a bit of a shortcut.
Right, because he didn't need to leave.
Smart move, actually. He'll be done with Trinex in about 3 minutes.
Yep.
And I think actually Wallkicks, after seeing that Thieves Town crystal, just put 2 and 2 together that the last pendant had to be here.
Yeah, we'll have to ask him about that when he shows up. If he shows up for an interview, that is. That'd be interesting to see how he decided on that one.
It looks like Krebel is unfortunately still putting off Skull Woods and going, not Skull Woods, Thieves Town, and going straight into Skull Woods without Fire Rod.
Right, I mean, as a runner, it's pretty upsetting to have to double dip. But with the way that the seed is going, I could see why maybe there would be a Fire Rod in Skull Woods. Unfortunately, though, our Fire Rod is in the basement of Easton.
Yeah, there's actually been a lot of progression in dungeons today. We had the Hookshot in Eastern, the Quake in Nice, the Bombos in Skull Woods, just to name some examples.
And actually, now that I think about it too, most of our progression items have actually been in basements.
Oh, jeez, you're right.
So, I'm guessing that this was a basement seed, too.
Yeah, I think the only exception was the bow and pod. That's about it.
Right. But couldn't you call that one almost like a basement? I mean, you're down in a dark area. There's no windows.
I think we can get away with that. And Wallkicks is like, I'm done. I'm using the Fire Rod. Although, this Ice Head is not cooperating here.
Nope, the Ice Head does not want to go and finally is done.
Although, as chat points out, that Ice Head decided not to use Ice Beam.
No, that was interesting. Now, just to point this out too, we can use Hammer to kill Trinex It's a little bit harder because you have to get a little closer. So just kiting around Trinex kind of helps it out. But that is it. The last boss is down. All Wall Kicks has to do is go to the pedestal.
Oh, and apparently, chat's actually further enlightening me that Trinex actually can't use Ice Beam in Randomizer.
Really?
So you learn something new every day, although I've been learning a lot of new stuff tonight.
Right, like my favorite seed is now Pet Seed.
Yeah, that's the thing about these mystery seeds. They can either be some of the quickest ever or some of the worst ever. I think I remember a mystery seed I called that was Randomizer with Entrance Shuffle. Good luck with that one.
I mean, yeah, I can imagine that would be annoying. You know what else would be annoying too? Would be Randomizer Cross Key.
Indeed. And you know something? With that flute in GT, we actually could have done all dungeons.
Right? We could have, but here's the pedestal pull. And pedestal warping us all the way to the Triforce. Wall Kicks finishing with a time of 1 hour, 10 minutes, and 35 seconds, placing first with our runners, two of which, there are 4 runners today, but placing first out of our 4 runners. Let's get some GGs.
And while we're at it, let's welcome Wall Kicks into the booth. Wall Kicks, GG to you. Congratulations on first place.
GG's.
So, besides a bit of an unfortunate double dip of Turtle Rock, not too bad routing on your part tonight.
Nah, this seed, there's actually, like, a lot of rude items in this seed, at least rude locations, because, like, the bow ended up being in a bad place, at least in terms of, like, you know, they're behind one key door, essentially, that just spends a key that you have to use, so, you know, the ice rod was kind of a silly thing, like, I'm thinking, okay, it's either Thieves Town or Turtle Rock. I know Thieves Town is a Trinex. So I'm just kind of hoping that it's just here in Turtle Rock and I should be fine. And then it's like, oh, it's another Trinex. I'm like, are you serious? So there's Ice Rod Hunts. Luckily, I didn't leave Hera Basement. So that worked out in the end.
Yeah, and the other thing that really helped you out was pushing Thieves Town all the way and getting the fire out in the basement. We're actually still waiting for Krebel to go down there, because you just checked Meyer to discover that both medallions were vanilla today, by the way, for required dungeons. And,
I never even got the flute out of that. I don't even know where the flute is.
It's in GT, which only needed 1 crystal to enter tonight.
Oh, baby. That was probably my next play after Hera, so hooray for that.
And after the flute, actually, you could have cleared all the dungeons.
Yeah, that would have been true. I didn't do a whole lot. Like, I don't like retro personally. I couldn't tell you where the Take Any caves are or the item shops or whatever. So for me, it was just about like, okay, I'm just gonna assume I don't need to find this sword and go from there.
Well,
yeah,
it was very nice seeing everything from the water walk, by the way, which I think really. Krebel didn't do that one right away with checking the hammer, getting Waterfall Fairy to get the hammer and the Cane of Samaria. You immediately grabbed it and were able to dive pod right away, and kind of really get your bow and start going off.
Yeah, because I didn't have the Moon Pearl, I knew my water walk, like, I was like, I should do Waterfall Fairy first, because if I just go to Hobo, I'm not going to be able to go into Waterfall Fairy. So I kind of made sure to route Waterfall Fairy in first, and like, if I get a heart that fills me up, I'm not going to worry too much about it. It's a sequence break anyways. Ended up getting Samaria and Hammer, which was kind of ridiculous. And I'm like, oh, okay, so Philip's probably can't be too far behind. And then I ended up finding Mitts instead. I'm like, oh, this is the Darkwold access. This hammer could actually be good. And then, as you mentioned, going all the way through in Thieves Town to get the Fire Rod was a big boon as well, because a lot of people in Randomizer generally don't go to the back of Thieves Town, just because the boss is already kind of readily available.
Yeah, pretty much. And another thing that we actually came to the conclusion of is that your actual access to Dark Death Mountain was actually via Hookshot, because you gotta get Hookshot in Eastern, then go get Flippers in Hookshot Cave, and then go back for Hammer and Cane. So, logical double dip of Dark Death Mountain. That's no fun.
Yeah, I can't imagine so. And I mean, it got to the point when I was like kind of like running low on checks. I'm like, okay, I have, I think 6 checks plus the green pendant turn in at Eastern, and then I had like the Smith chain plus Stumpy and Dig Game, which is like 4 or 5 items. So I kind of weighed my options there and thought Eastern was the better play, and it ended up giving me the hook shot. I considered leading right then and there, but at the same time, I wasn't like, I'm like, you know what? I still don't know my, you know, I don't think I knew my pendant or crystal information at that point. So I was like, let's just finish this off. I don't know what GT entry is going to be, so let's at least have a crystal, that kind of thing.
Yeah, and was it? Did you pretty much have it hammered, nailed down when you did that last map check, mirroring back for Turtle Rock, that Turtle Rock had to be pendant?
Yeah, so I knew it was down to Thieves Town and Turtle Rock, like I said, and they were both blocked by Trinex. After I picked up the Ice Rod, I'm like, okay, let's do a Curdy's map check just to see if I have one of those maps, and it turned out I had the Thieves Town map, so that ended up being pretty easy. So once I knew Thieves Town was the crystal, I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Just a quick shot over to Turtle Rock. Luckily, I had still partially saved the portal. I didn't save it at the, in the back and at the laser bridge exit, but I had saved it when I was going to go do Spiral Cave.
Yeah, that ended up still working out pretty much in your favor. It only took you like an extra minute to get back.
Yeah, so everything worked out actually really nicely, I think, this seed overall. Despite some, like I said, some rude locations with the bow, the mirror, even though I don't think the mirror was actually required, and the fire rod and ice rod were actually all really gross.
Yeah, they were both pretty gross. But yeah, mirror wasn't required. Ether wasn't required. There were actually a lot of places that you could have skipped out entirely on Hera. Besides Hera Basement, you didn't have to go kill the boss.
No, but I mean, it's 4 items upstairs to 2, or to, the 1 downstairs. You obviously go upstairs first. I mean, and I would imagine a lot of people that, Hera Basement's a thing that people like to skip anyways. So I did it just to be on the safe side, despite me being pretty loose with my skips this seed.
Yeah, actually, I'm trying to think. It's actually another thing that's funny is you ended up going. You took that like vanilla lamp to go to Back of Escape, and Krebel found the glove instead to do Back of Escape before going to the front. So it was kind of funny that you both had different Back of Escape accesses.
I was so unhappy with that lamp because I was just ready to save and quit, and then I'm like, oh, you got to be kidding me! I can go to the back now, and I'm like, I've killed all the enemies here. I'm just gonna have to bomb myself to death. That was a little bit of a feels bad man moment right there.
Yeah,
and then I was preparing to save scum the key in pod at the vanilla big key chest, just because I wanted to hold on to keys at the time because it's retro. And then it was the bow, and I'm like, God, you got to be kidding me! So there were a lot of weird, silly moments this seed.
Yeah, and how about that legendary 8-eyed Moldorm tonight?
Oh baby, who doesn't love an 8-eyed Moldorm?
And 2 of them too, just to make things a little bit more fun.
True.
I still find it. I can't remember. Did the Armos Knights in Ice Palace have the Quake medallion?
I thought it was Ice Palace.
Yeah, because
actually, was it Ice Palace? Maybe Tea, maybe Ice Tea Room.
I can't remember if it was Ice Tea or if it was.
I think it was Freezors.
Okay, yeah, chat's confirming that one too. So I was about to say, did we bat both of the medallions on the bosses? But not the case. Pretty close though.
Listen, this seed, and I'm sure pretty much Wallkicks can agree with this one. This seed has been both a blessing and one of those ones that's like, unless you did that sequence break, really, this is the seed I was given. One of those type of scenarios. Because the Turtle Rock map, believe it or not, was actually, I believe, on Smith Chain.
naturally.
And so was, and there was, money was an issue for the, like, first half of the seed. There was an extra 300 in the purple chest.
Oh, yeah. I mean, money wasn't too bad. I was able to get into pod, and then that was kind of really the only thing I was concerned about money-wise.
Not to mention, worst scam ever.
I don't know what was on Zora. Probably a single rupee, I would imagine, if you're saying that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Heck yes.
The king of scammers struck again.
I don't think I ever reached... Well, no, I did, I think, at one point have enough money for Zora, but Zora was never really on my mind.
Yeah, you had gotten the 2 blue potions because you were about to go and dive Ice Palace. We thought that you were going to check Zora, but then as soon as you got the potions, we were like, nope, Ice Palace.
Oh yeah, props to you for instantly nailing that splash deletion when fake flipper into ice too.
Oh, the Ancelo, the one with the bow?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one is not too hard from that particular pier. Just cost 30 rupees in retro.
Yeah, by that point, rupees were just starting to flow in, so wasn't the worst rupee. Wasn't the worst way to spend rupees. There you go, words.
Words are hard sometimes. You guys have been talking for an hour. I don't, it's to be expected that you flub words.
Yeah, that and it's after midnight here, so I'm a little bit on the exhausted side.
Fair enough.
I'm with you there, Captain. But you know what? Honestly, though, Ped Seed has now become my favorite seed just because of not because it's fast, but because the logic that's behind it makes you really stop to think, okay, is this actually in the proper sequence? For example, when you found the flippers over in Hookshot Cave, right? Was that your idea of saying, well, maybe Turtle Rock is more in play, or was it more the item density?
Turtle Rock was my play because I mapped, the old man gave us the map to Hera, and I'm like, okay, let's check the Hera real quick. And then it was a Chris. I'm like, okay, well now I'm doing Turtle Rock over Hera. I was going up there to do one or both of the dungeons, regardless of what I was finding on the mountain along the way. Like, I had 4 small keys, I had Samaria, I had Fire Rod. I'm like, okay, I can get to the boss in Turtle Rock regardless. It just, as if it's a Trinix, then darn me there. But it wasn't, but it was. But yeah, I was doing Turtle Rock regardless, because I think at that point it was down to Turtle Rock, Thieves Town, and I think Mire maybe as like my last potential pendant dungeon. So I had I didn't know Hera, yeah. So I was down to like a 50-50 shot of my last pendant dungeon being on the mountain. So I was going to go do both dungeons regardless of what I was finding up there. Getting the flippers just told me that, okay, this was a lot, like the hammer was much deeper in logic than I picked it up on.
Right. I think it was just interesting, though, just to see not only that, but in this seed, we got to see 2 Armos, because there was another, by the way. You had the Armos in Ice Palace, and there was another Armos